Welcome back to Champion News Talk Radio, brought to you by championnews.net. Today, our very special guests are from Honest Elections, Illinois. True the Vote is your national group. And each of you ladies have a tea party, too. Your DuPage Tea Party.
DuPage Tea Party, yes.
And Tri-Counties.
Yes.
But now you've taken this to the next level to help protect our elections and integrity here in Illinois.
Illinois, yes.
How will you take a national organization and drill them down to Illinois' laws? How is it pertinent to us here with all of our corruption and scams?
Well, that's the question, and it's a big one. These fellas have constructed a system that's unique, and it's in detail, and we're finding, for instance, in getting people on the ballot after the primary, the law they put in place here in Chicago and Cook County and Illinois, all three places are running elections, and they put things in to satisfy themselves and to hold the Republicans out. It's organized to confuse and hold out the Republican vote. Very unique stuff, and some of it is going to be fought all the way to the federal level because it's so unique and so rotten and pervasive. It's all of those things. We're the champions at stealing the vote here.
Right.
Ladies,
are these guys really ready to tackle the champions in this?
Yes.
It's going to cost a lot of money in attorneys.
Well, right now, the True the Vote organization must be doing something right because they have Eric Holder suing them. So
got two lawsuits against
they have
them.
2 lawsuits against them. While we have probably are the king of having things going wrong in our election, Houston and Texas has a lot of stuff going on. Shirley Jackson, I believe, is the person in Houston that's coming out for, we're disenfranchising and that type of thing. While it's a national organization, we are totally separate from them in that we're independent, but they provide the infrastructure for us. So they have a way, they're going to put, our laws will be on the information that we give to our poll watchers. Poll watcher training is generic in terms of what most people do, and then it's made specific to us, and we will have an ebook. In addition to the poll watching, if people don't want to go out of their home, they can do cleaning up voter rolls. It's important to note that Honest Elections Illinois and True the Vote are nonpartisan. So when we do cleaning up voter rolls, we don't know whether we're taking dead Republicans off or dead Democrats off the rolls. And it's similar to what's going on in
You've identified
Florida.
a couple of groups, and before we stop here, we should find out how people can get in touch with these groups, because what we're going to find in this is that there are a number of different people that are already started on this topic, and this is going to take some organization.
We're working with Sharon Maroney. We're working with Illinois Integrity Project, Carol Davis, to, when it comes to the election time, when it comes to the poll watchers, that we don't all have everybody going into the same poll.
Right, we coordinate
We're
efforts.
trying to coordinate our efforts so that we spread people out. For instance, Carol Ann has a large group of people who have been trained as poll watchers. We don't want to put any people in her groups because she already has those available. So we're going to coordinate it across the state where we need it most.
I mean, it's probably a number of people that be involved in this will be probably well north of 5,000. I may be quite low on it. I have no information going, excepting I know of at least one list for 4,000 workers.
Yes,
and,
we need so many workers, and it's people can go to where they need to start if they're working with us is to go to www.truethevote.org, sign up as a volunteer. That puts them into the portal, which they will then be assigned by county to one of our groups. They can take online training, so they don't have to do anything. The online training is becoming available. They can volunteer to be poll watchers. They can volunteer to help clean voter rolls. Similar to Verify the Vote, what we did in Wisconsin, True the Vote helped in those efforts. There is a computer database set up the same way. You go in and you look at individuals and decide, if that person was born in 1890, they might not be voting today, or they shouldn't be. Who knows?
Can I ask?
And let me pick this thing up. These people weren't present in the last election we had here in Illinois, and they weren't present. And I spent a great deal of money out of my own pocket to help things like this. I haven't totaled it up, but I spent well north of $100,000 to get things started. And with that, we put people into the nursing homes in Cook County.
Yes.
We put 200 attorneys, one in each nursing home, and provided transportation to get them safely there and in critical places in the city. This was virgin territory for trying to do something about it. Since then, we've changed the law on the early voting. We've taken it back from 16 days to 10, and for the first time, they're now required to have an audit of the early vote. They never, ever audited the early vote. That was the easiest place to steal votes in the whole state.
Right.
And we have had an effect on that.
Still is. Still is the easiest way to steal votes.
Yes.
Early voting.
Let me finish the thought. I've already put a ton of money into this thing and got some things going. And if these people down there can do that, I'd be ever so happy. But we got to coordinate this activity, and,
Right.
and it means not only these people that are going to have to be there on voting day, but the supervision of this stinking process,
Right.
where 15 different procedures that they're supposed to be following that are in the law, these guys have no intention of following all of those things. They have no intention. And we got to deal with this thing before the voting day gets here. And I personally would be very happy to see people that are organized, as for instance the National Right to Work group is, helping us on the unions and providing attorneys and so forth to help take the cheating education unions out of the play. Boy, if those guys are going to provide stuff like that, I'd sure like to know it.
They're not, True the Vote is not providing any of that. We are, Claire and I, as part of Honest Elections Illinois, are championing the efforts here in Illinois. So True the Vote doesn't have any investment in what's going on in Illinois, and in fact, probably we're way down the totem pole as far as what efforts they're going to put into Illinois. They're concentrating on the swing states,
Florida,
and making sure
Ohio.
that they have people in there to get those votes counted correctly. We know that Illinois is not going to be
Nationally
cleaned up
supported.
in one election cycle,
Right.
but we need to start somewhere. So even if
there's
we
an immense pile of things. For instance, what we found in the last election is that these guys are very cavalier with their attitudes. They transport these machines with supposed locks on them, but where there are keys involved, they have master keys all over the place. Anybody can have a key and be unsupervised and tampering with the machine or entering what they want in the night before the election starts or the night after. There's so many procedures these guys are doing. It's just immense, the different ways they have of cheating.
But Jack, we need to start somewhere. So as you mentioned, you started with the nursing home issues. Early voting is a problem. There are so many issues here in Illinois that you could spend a lifetime trying to fix them. But we could sit back and be like most Illinois citizens and say, well, we're from Illinois, vote early, vote often. Or we could actually say, okay, this time I am not going to take it anymore. I'm going to go at least know that I have made some effort to change things, whether that's cleaning up the voter rolls, which is something you can do from home whenever you want.
2 a.m.
In your jammies.
That prevents some of these people from voting, because when they go to the polls, their name isn't there because they've been taken off. So there are ways. I think if we don't ever start, it will never get better.
Rahm Emanuel stated that as far as he's concerned, if you live in Chicago, you should have a right to vote. This is one man usurping the U.S. Constitution. Do you think the media picked up on that? Do you think the media had anything derogatory to say about his statement? And how about all the legitimate U.S. citizens that are going to have their votes usurped by people that don't even belong to this country?